Hey everybody, Matty Ice here, back from COVID with a Grandmaster guide for Glassway. So, before we get started, I would just like to say if you could subscribe to the channel, like the video, I'd greatly appreciate it. You can also follow me on Twitch. I plan on doing a bunch of Grandmaster carries this weekend, just to help you guys get and guild your Conqueror titles. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into the video here. So I'm actually going to kind of blow through a lot of these opening rooms pretty quickly, just because they're pretty similar to the master version. The main difference being the shanks don't have solar shields, and there's like a few of the master and grandmaster modifiers that kind of get swapped around, but for the most part this is pretty straightforward. Kill the things, there's a couple champions, a couple of the little mini bosses that you have to fight, but nothing overly complex here. It's just a little bit of ad management and being able to kill some champions. In the second room, I will say though that I do prefer to hang out in the back of the area, mostly because it gives you some distance, gives you some cover, just makes it a little easier that I find. And once you've cleared out enough of the different ads, you could move up to the left side platform just to get a better angle. But the big thing here is you just don't really want to group up too much with your team, just so that you don't all get stuck or frozen together or just blown up together. So spread out a little bit, stay in the back of the room, and you should be fine here. Just take it a little slow. For the second area that's a little bit more open, where the guy who throws the ice grenades at you that have the area of effect, I like to hop over to the left side pretty much immediately. And if you're running a solar warlock, you can plant your well here. Just makes it a little easier to group up and blow everything up really quickly. If you're not, just stay in the back. Again, there's some rocks, use the cover, use the distance. If you want to split up so that some of you are on the left side, some of you are on the right side, that's perfectly fine. Again, the big thing here is just, kill the ads quickly, watch the champions. The barrier champions are very annoying, as they can shield the boss and all the other ads. When you get to this open area here, you do want to make sure you kill everything and that you don't let anything get behind you. That's probably going to be your biggest downfall for this room, but for the most part this is again just straight ad clear. There's one overload champion. It's not too bad. Again, just use the distance that you have, make sure you kill everything at range, and don't let anything behind you. So once you finally completed all that area, you get to this plate room. For this one, make sure you do not step on the plate until everyone is actually in the room. This is going to cause anyone who's not in the room to be pulled forward, and it's just going to make them spawn in a very vulnerable position and likely die, so just be careful with that. If you're on Solar Warlock like I am, again, you can just plant your Well of Radiance and hold the plate pretty much for the entire time. It does take a little bit longer than 30 seconds, so if you need to, when your well runs out, like you'll see in the background gameplay here for me, I run to the back of the room and hide there. And if you don't have anyone with well, that's what I recommend doing, is staying at the entrance to the room, touch the plate to spawn the ads, get a little bit of progress on the timer, and then as soon as the ads start to spawn, just run, use these boxes and barrels for cover, clear all the ads, touch the plate for some progress again, run back, rinse and repeat. That's kind of the standard play for this room, but if you do have a well, or a bubble even, but definitely a well, you can hold the plate a little bit easier. Just make sure that you don't stay on there without some kind of protection, because you will get killed very quickly by these ads. And then once you've finally cleared everything, gotten the plate done, you're just going to continue to progress through the room. There's a few champions, a lot of ads. Make sure you just use the cover, go slow, and you make your way to the boss room in no time. So speaking of the boss room, this is where you're going to spend probably the majority of your time. This is a very long, drawn-out fight if you're not able to just blitz through it quickly. So be prepared. The main thing you have to know here is that the ads spawn in very consistent waves. So the first wave, both bosses spawn, and there will be 2 overload champions that spawn. These overloads will chase you down, and I recommend hiding in the left room. You definitely want to be hiding in either the left or right room this entire time. I prefer the left, but just use the cover in here to kill these overloads as soon as possible. Ideally, you want to stun the far one that spawns in the right platform pretty early on and just focus the left one, and then by the time you kill the left one, the right one should be with you, and you can kill him pretty quickly by focusing him. Now, another ad wave will spawn, again, with 2 Overload champions, as soon as you do enough damage to the little Hydra. So, again, use your cover, try to stun both champions together, or stun one and then focus the other. And ideally you want to blow a super, like a Thunder Crash, or some Tether, Blade Barrage, whatever you got. You just want to melt these guys as quickly as possible. The main thing that's going to wipe you throughout this whole encounter are the Overload champions and the Wyverns. So, after you've killed the Overload champions on the first wave, this is going to be the strat that I use for dealing damage to the big guy. So, I like to split up, have one person on the inside of the left, all the way in the back, to shoot him, get his attention, while the other 2 people are outside in the open, shooting his other exposed side. And what you're going to do is you're going to juggle his attention. So when he's shooting at the guy who's inside, he's taking cover while everyone on the outside shoots him for damage. That's going to then pull his attention and his aggro to the outside people, where then the inside person goes back and starts to shoot him in the back, get his head from like the side, and then that pulls the attention back and forth. So this is the best way to keep you guys safe. You can take a couple shots before you have to go hide, and then, with the attention being pulled, you wait for your health to recover. As soon as your health's back, just poke back out and shoot again. You just kind of rinse and repeat until you've done enough damage. Definitely save your ammo here. There's no real rush to kill him, so just use your primary, use a little bit of special if you have it. Now, as soon as you have cleared both the little guy and the big guy, the second wave is going to spawn. This is going to be the Hydra or the Wyvern wave. So this is most likely what's going to wipe you. The Wyverns are the most annoying part throughout this whole boss fight, because just like the Overload champions, they will hunt you down, but they can kill you very quickly with their regular attack or their melee stomp. So you want to, again, kind of hide in this left room, be careful. As you can see, my 2 teammates here die very quickly to a Wyvern, so you just be very careful. Use your super for protection. So you can see I dropped my well here, and I'm just trying to shoot him from the well. My teammate uses Thunder Crash here to just blow him up. Again, whatever you got to do, kill these Wyverns quickly, because if they get inside, they're a bit of a pain to deal with. You can kite them around, so you can grab their attention, and just, since they move fairly slowly with their walk, just kind of kite them around pillars to get your teammates in a position where you can res them if they go down. And then ignore the hobgoblins outside. So they're barrier champions, but they do not chase you inside like the overloads. So you can do your best to ignore them. And just like before, when you get the little Hydra down to about half of his bar for that chunk, or for that wave, reinforcements spawn, which is just more Wyverns and more barrier hobgoblins. So again, watch the Hydras. You can finish Hydras at about half health, which is what you're kind of going for. Finishers are definitely your friends with Wyverns. So once you've finished off the Wyverns and the second reinforcement wave, you can go ahead and kill the Hydra. Getting him out of the way is just nice so he's not in your face. And then once you do that, you'll have to kill all the barrier champions to spawn the next wave. So the third wave here is going to be another round of overload champions. So again, use your super to cover yourself, and you just want to kill these overloads quickly. And then the big Hydra boss is going to be outside. So as long as you're in here, you're pretty safe from his attacks. So again, just use the cover you have, get those overloads down, use the cycling of attention method to do damage to him with one person in, 2 people out, and just kind of whittle him down once you've cleared all the champions. Again, once you get to him to about half health, he's going to spawn reinforcements, so just be careful. Finally, both the bosses are going to spawn in the final wave, and again, this is a Hydra wave, or a Wyvern wave. So you want to kill these Wyverns as quickly as possible, just like before. There's nothing new here. The only difference is now there's going to be both the big boss and the little boss, but your priority is going to be focusing on the Wyverns, because they are going to be the ones that kill you very quickly and can ruin your run. The mini Hydra boss isn't going to be doing enough damage to you to where you can't just outmaneuver him, So don't worry about that one as much. Once you do kill the little Hydra, more wyverns are going to spawn. So that's what spawns the reinforcements. So again, just time your kill of him to where you've already cleared out all the other adds. The main thing you want to avoid is spawning the additional wyverns when the existing wyverns are still there. You do not want more than 2 out at any given point, because that will be very difficult to deal with unless you have, a tether or thunder crash, something like that. But do your best to just kill the wyverns, then you can spawn the reinforcements. So again, if you're able to get through this, then you're in the home stretch, easy peasy. Just again, kill the hobgoblin champions outside and you're home free. Just do a little bit of split damage on the big boss. So while the rest of this plays out in the background, I want to go over different weapon options and loadouts you can use. Obviously from the clip in the background, I'm using a BXR, Arbalist, and a machine gun, their commemoration to be more specific. This is a fine loadout, but I actually think a better loadout for more or less any class is going to be double primary, just because you don't want to be in a situation where you're out of ammo. So you can see here I actually run out of Arbalist, and I'm very low on machine gun, so I have no way of stunning champions at the moment. So Tiku's is a great one here because it does wonders for overloads and it auto locks. A kinetic scout is probably what I would pair with that Tiku's, since it's anti-barrier scout or anti-barrier auto rifle this season. And I'd maybe use a DMT, Dead Man's Tale, for that if you're not running a Tiku's. If you want to run a legendary bow like Strident Whistle. You can also run an arc weapon. There are a few arc shields here at the end, but I wouldn't worry about them too much. Don't fix your loadout around that. There's also a couple solar shields in there. So don't worry about that as much as just making sure you have a double primary so you don't have to worry about your ammo. And then your heavy, since you wouldn't have to worry about overload machine gun, you can do something like a linear or a rocket just so you can output damage a little faster. I think a rocket like Galahorn, Hothead, any of the craftable rockets would be very good here, just because it'll let you get those wyverns down faster since you got that big burst damage. One last thing to remember here is anti-barrier weapons can pass through the Hydra shields. So you can see I shot the boss with Arbalist through his shield. Same thing works with any anti-barrier weapon you got going on. So your Dead Man's Tale, your Scout, your auto rifle, it'll bypass right through that shield, so you don't have to worry about it. So with that being said, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, again, if you could like and subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next one.